Good afternoon, everyone. Today is August 2nd, 2024. I'm Stephen Herwire, owner of Herwire Financial. Today, after the market wrap, we're going to talk about the differences between Medicare supplements and Medicare Advantage. Before we talk about Medicare supplements and Medicare Advantage, we got to talk a little bit about Medicare A and B. A is hospitalization. Generally speaking, you don't pay a premium for this. Covers hospitalization, skilled nursing, rehab facilities, and hospice care. For each benefit period, there is a $1,632 deductible. This covers the first 60 days. Now, people will ask, what's a benefit period? Well, it begins when you get admitted to the hospital and ends 60 days after your discharge from the hospital or skilled nursing facility. If you stay past 60 days in the hospital, days 61 through 90 cost $408 a day. If you stay past 90 days, you start to eat into your lifetime reserve days bank, which is 60 days over your lifetime. The cost per day is $816. Once the lifetime bank is used up, any days past 90 are the sole responsibility of the Medicare recipient. There is no maximum out-of-pocket for Part A. By the way, these are numbers for 2024. Every year, the numbers are going to go up, I predict. Part B, there is a premium for this. Currently, till the end of 2024, the base premium is $174.70 per month. It covers doctors. It covers outpatient services. And there's some drugs that they administer in the doctor's office that it covers, and things like certain vaccines and intravenous drugs. And there's two types of surcharges or penalties associated with Part B. If you sign up late, there's a 10% per year late enrollment penalty for Medicare Part B. There are exceptions. We're not going to talk about them here. And then there's another thing called a Medicare Income Related Monthly Adjustment Amount. I'll call it IRMA from now on. And the surcharge, if you're married filing jointly, if you're modified adjusted gross income, your MAGI is $206,000 or more, you start paying it. And again, there's no max out of pocket for your expenses for Medicare Part B. By the way, you have a $240 deductible. After that, you pay 20%. Medicare pays 80%. Again, these are numbers for 2024. So at this point, after I've explained this to folks, they say, I don't want my family to go broke just because I got sick. What do I do? Well, you have a few choices, and we'll focus on two of them. One is a Medicare supplement, aka Medigap. The other is Medicare Advantage. Medicare supplements. Now, when you sign up for Medicare Part B, you have a guaranteed issue period for 6 months after you are on Medicare B, where they have to give you the supplement. You could have stage 4 liver cancer and they'd have to give it to you. After that, getting into a Medicare supplement, depending on what state you live in, may or may not be problematic. Current plans don't offer drug coverage. So if you've got a supplement and Medicare, you're going to have to get drug coverage elsewhere. Depending on what state you live in, the combined cost for a Medicare supplement and drug coverage could be as high as $400 a month. Note, this does not include the $174.70 plus surcharges that I mentioned before. By the way, for the purposes of this discussion, we'll only be discussing Plan G. There are other plans with less cost, but more out of pocket when you access medical services. We're not going to be discussing those plans. But generally speaking, if you're on a G plan, the only medical expense, other than the monthly premium, will be the Part B deductible, which I mentioned before in 2024 is $240. Now, sometimes people will look at me and say, yeah, I can't afford $300 to $400 a month just for little old me. And well, this is where the other option comes into play. If you opt for a Medicare Advantage plan, at least in my area right now, they run from $0 a month to over $200 a month. Drug coverage, with some exceptions, may be included in the price of the plan. Now, at this point, People ask, why on earth would anybody opt for the more expensive Medicare supplement and standalone prescription drug plan? What's the catch? Well, there are two catches. If you're on the more expensive supplements, you have to ask your doctor, do you take Medicare? If the doctor does, then you're in. You can use him. But with the generally less expensive Medicare Advantage plan, you need to check to see if your doctors are in network. Visits outside the network, except if you're going to the emergency room or urgent care in the United States, are generally more expensive. Sometimes you can end up stuck with the entire doctor bill. And copays and out-of-pocket expenses are more. Like I mentioned before, when you've got Plan G, you pay the $240 deductible, and you don't pay for any medical expenses for the rest of the year for that. With Medicare Advantage, you end up paying copays, and there is a max out-of-pocket, which brought us to this choice. And now it runs over, it's somewhere in the neighborhood of $13,000 worst case. Most of them aren't that bad, but some, some have that potential. First off, if you're in a plan you like, there should be a really good reason to change it. When you first obtain Medicare Part B, you should carefully consider whether or not you wish to get a supplement. You can pay more later if you're outside that 6-month guaranteed enrollment period. It's also possible you'll be denied acceptance. If you move, especially if you change states, you'll likely need to make a change, and it must be done expeditiously. You generally have about 2 months once you make the move. Contact your agent as quickly as possible. Okay, once you graduate, be it from welding school, engineering school, or law school, you're going to need a different financial plan for each of these stages that's tailored to your individual situation. In your working years, primary answer it's going to give you is, are you saving enough for retirement? Because the younger you are, the less impact it's going to have on your spending monies to save for retirement effectively. Once you get in the glide path, which I call the last 10 years prior to retirement, will the USS retirement be shipshape on the appointed day? Lastly, retirement. When you go into retirement, is how do you avoid running out of money before you run out of life? And then there's the legacy phase. When you're done with retirement, does what I worked hard for get to where I wanted it to? It can be reached at herwirefinancial.com. I do in-person, Zoom, and phone appointments. I am licensed and registered across several states and can easily add states if there's a need. If you'd like to schedule an appointment, click on that schedule an appointment button in the upper right-hand corner of my website. And if you want to see more videos like this, you can click on that red YouTube button. And please like and subscribe to there, and follow me on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Twitter. For those who prefer the good old-fashioned telephone, 518-631-2569. Do not text that number. We will both be sad because I won't get the text. There's a separate texting number right underneath that. This material contains only general descriptions, not a solicitation to sell any insurance product or security, nor is it intended as any financial or tax advice. For information about specific insurance needs or situations, contact your insurance agent. This article is intended to assist in educating you about insurance generally and not to provide personal service. It does not take into account your personal characteristics like budget, assets, risk tolerance, family situation, or activities which may affect the type of insurance that would be right for you. In addition, state insurance laws and insurance underwriting rules may affect available coverage and its cost. If you need more information or would like personal advice, you should consult an insurance professional. You may also visit your state's insurance department for more information. Riders are additional guarantee options that are available to an annuity or life insurance contract holder. While some riders are part of an existing contract, many others carry additional fees, charges, and restrictions, and the policyholder should review their contract carefully before purchasing. Guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. All performance reference is historical, no guarantee of future results. All indices are unmanaged and may not be invested in directly. All data is believed to be from reliable sources. However, no representation is made as to its completeness or accuracy. None of this is to be construed as tax or legal advice. Consult your advisor prior to taking any action. Unmanaged index returns do not reflect fees, expenses, or sales charges. Index performance is not indicative of the performance of any investment. Investing in stock includes numerous specific risks, including the fluctuation of dividend, loss of principal, and potential illiquidity of the investment in a falling market. Investing in mutual funds involves risks, including possible loss of principal. Fund value will fluctuate with market conditions, and it may not achieve its investment objective. Dow Jones Industrial Average is comprised of 30 stocks that are major factors in their industries and widely held by individuals and institutional investors. The Standard & Poor's 500 is a capitalization-weighted index of 500 stocks designed to measure performance of the broad domestic economy through changes in the aggregate market value of 500 stocks representing all major industries. The NASDAQ Composite Index measures all NASDAQ domestic and non-US based common stocks listed on the NASDAQ stock market. Market value, the last sale price multiplied by the total shares outstanding, is calculated throughout the trading day and is related to the total value of the index. And finally, Herwire Financial and LPL Financial are not endorsed by or affiliated with the U.S. Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services or any government agency. Everybody have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.